Take two? Take two. All right, here we go. Good morning, everyone. How y'all doing? Awesome, man. Today is Friday, April 29th, 2022. This is one of my favorite months of the year because we get 5 paydays, Steve, this month. We like those, don't we? 5 paydays, no doubt about it. So anyway, this is our Friday morning meeting. You guys are more than welcome to ask questions, whatever you want to do throughout the whole meeting, and we will give our best shot at answering those. If we can't, we will get back with you, definitely. So this morning, hopefully everybody's enjoying the breakfast. If you haven't got breakfast, step on over to the cafeteria before the meeting's over with and get some breakfast, no doubt. How was it this morning? Food good? Let's give a big round of applause to our cafeteria folks. And this, just like every other Friday, we are transmitting this up to Pittston, Pennsylvania. So let's head up to PA and see if we have Mr. Rick Ifford up there. Ricky, up there?
Good morning. I think they're a little early on it, but it was a pretty good roar.
That's a good one, man. You about blew the speakers out, I think.
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Good. What you got going on up in Pittston this week?
Everybody's ready to go to work, as you can tell that they're ready to go. And we had a great class this week. A lot of green vests that we got sitting around here today. Just ready to go.
Good deal. I heard the big word this morning is the NFL draft. Is everybody happy up there?
Everybody seems to be happy. They're not booing.
There you go. It's right now, like being Roger Goodell and get booed every time you get up on stage. It's pretty amazing. So. Good deal, Rick. If you got any questions this week, or I should say today, make sure you holler at us, man. We'll get you on the mic.
Hey, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for having us.
Appreciate you too. Let's go out west. Salt Lake City. We got Mr. Troy Rich.
Yeah, baby. Hey, I got myself a chair like y'all had last week. What happened to your chairs?
We mixed it up on you, man.
Good morning from Salt Lake. How are you guys?
Good. How's it going out there this week?
Oh, it's wonderful. We got a good crowd. We got a whole bunch of PSD students. We got a bunch of people upgrading, getting new trucks. It's exciting. It's a good week.
Good to hear. Looks like it must be some warmer weather out there. I see you shorts and t-shirt going.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's I think we're gonna hit like 60 or something. So we're getting close. You know, it's starting to get warm out here.
There you go. Now I gotta throw this out to you because I know you're a big Steelers fan. You happy with that draft?
That's perfect. We needed, Ben left, so we needed a quarterback, and we got a pick out of Pittsburgh. I think it's gonna be good. Good replacement. Excited about it.
Good deal. Hometown boy, maybe. So there you go.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
All right. Well, if you got any questions, Troy, anything comes up, make sure you let us know, man. We'll get you on the mic.
Will do. Thank you, sir.
All right. Back here in Springfield, you guys all doing good?
Let's see what
There we go. We got a fired up crowd, Steve. So happy up here to have Mr. Steve Field, our safety director. We're good to have you along this week. And after taking a week off last week, but you weren't out on pleasure, you're out on business. So good to have you back. So anyway, Steve's our safety director. Been here well over 25 years. So longtime veteran here at Prime and great guy. So glad to have him back. Anyway, this week, go ahead. I'll let you talk.
Sure.
No, yeah, you go ahead and take it over, man. Okay. I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Appreciate you being here. As Dave said, my name is Steve Field. I'm in the safety department with Dave. We appreciate you being here. We've kind of been doing these safety meetings now probably for like 25, 26 years. It kind of changed over time, but the purpose of the meetings has never changed, and it's always been to exchange information with you, for us to listen to your questions, for us to give you information, maybe to have a little bit of fun. I think they're kind of unique within the industry. I think if you could somehow look at every major trucking company in America, you wouldn't see a meeting that's like this one out there, where we're fortunate usually to have Robert with us, the founder and the owner of the company, have our senior management down here, and really just have a give and take. So we appreciate you being here. For our new folks, we really appreciate you being here. You're our future. And growth is so important to us. We've got to be able to grow. We've got to grow sensibly, but that allows us to take care of our customers and do some things that we wouldn't be able to do if we didn't have the size that we have. So I would like to take a minute and just welcome all our new drivers. If you're brand new, if you're just starting out with Prime, would you stand for a minute so we could recognize you and welcome you to our family? Pretty enthusiastic. You know, it is great to see you, but let me just for a minute, just take a minute here and say, you know, you're entering a very, very challenging profession. Trucking is a tough profession. It's also very rewarding. And right now it's probably more rewarding than it ever has been. COVID, if there was a good side to COVID, it was that the American public maybe started to realize the importance of the American trucker. We've always known it. We know we wouldn't have a company without all of you, our senior drivers, our new drivers. We need each and every one of you. But with that opportunity does come some risk. And that's why we have these safety meetings, so we can share information about safety with you. For the new folks, you're going to be almost overwhelmed with information, whether it's in this meeting, out with your instructor, getting your permit, testing out for your license, the TNT phase, and eventually moving to your own truck. Hang in there. I know it's challenging. There's going to be times you think, maybe I can't do this, but you can do it. We've been training folks here now for probably 15, 16 years. We have the absolute best training program there is. And if I look at every veteran driver out here, they started right where you did at some point, not knowing how to drive a truck, wondering how to do all this, and look where they are now, because we've got some fantastic operators that have been with us for decades. So again, welcome. Don't give up. It's challenging. It can be dangerous if you're not careful out there, but again, it can be very rewarding for you and your family. And that's really the big reason that we're here, to take care of our family. So welcome. We're glad you're here.
Just to add on to that, we have three main principles here at Prime we all need to follow. One is do your best. Second is do what's right. And the third is treat others the way you want to be treated. And if you follow those three, you'll be fine. There's no doubt about it. And that's part of trucking right there. And that's the heart of trucking. I'll be honest with you. Years ago, Steve and I, we both drove, but the equipment out there nowadays, and we didn't have any of that. And you guys will be getting into some nice equipment. There's no doubt about it. And you're going to come upon challenging times. There's no doubt. It could be traffic out there, could be dealing with customers, could be dealing with enforcement. It's all challenging in trucking. And then some days you won't have any problems. Just go down the road and be easy peasy. And other days it'll be snow, weather, you name it, that you have to deal with. And so, those situations come about. Just do your best, do what's right, treat others the way you want to be treated, and you'll come out okay at the end of the day. And if you ever need any help, let us know. That's what we're here for. We're here to make you successful. Steve and I aren't bumping docks. We're not out there delivering freight. You guys all are, and that's what the name of the game is here. Picking up on time, doing it on time, delivering on time, and doing it safely. So remember those principles. You guys will all be fine just right here. And we appreciate you having you all. I know some of you have left other lines of employment. Some of you have, we're doing other things before Prime. Maybe this is an adventure you just wanted to take on, see what happens. And more power to you. This is a great company, and hopefully you all realize that once you get your feet in here. And I know you all been through a lot, just your first week of orientation, going through physicals, drug tests, all the fun stuff in trucking. But now the real learning is going to start here in the next week when you get out there with a trainer. So welcome aboard. Should we talk about some safety, brother?
Go ahead,
All
Dave.
right. So this past week, Mr. McCoy, this will make you happy. I know this. Our inspections, we had 147 DOT inspections this past week, 111 clean ones. So 76% clean rate, no doubt about it. That is some great numbers. That's probably one of the best so far this year, don't you think?
That is incredibly impressive. And, every week Dave talks about the numbers, and they're always good when you compare us to the industry.
Oh, yeah.
But, it hit 76%, because when you think about an inspection for a minute, just one defect there, whether that defect is on the tractor, on the trailer, your logbook, your medical certification, your license, you forgot to put your glasses on, anything becomes a violation right there. So to hit 76% clean is fantastic. It tells me we can probably make 80.
We can, no doubt about it. It's the small things that sometimes we forget about when we're out there on the roadway. One of our top violations for unsafe driving is speeding, 6 to 10 over. Now, our trucks are governed at 62 and 65, so I'm not talking about speeding out here on the interstate, because most of our interstate highways now are 70 miles an hour, so you're not going to be speeding in a prime truck going down those. But it's where the speed limit differential changes, coming into towns, things like that. It's the state of Indiana. I'll just throw that out there. They're one of the most strict states for speeding. And the reason is they need probable cause to pull you over. And running 2 or 3 miles an hour over the speed limit gives that officer probable cause to stop you. And then what comes next? The inspection. And that's when they tend to find the little things. They may look inside your truck and maybe look at your lights, your brakes, whatever it may be. But any type of violation, they're going to find, they're going to write it up. So, stick with the speed limit. If it's 55, 55, make sure you're going 55 if the speed limit's changing, or 45 into some of these cities or towns you're going into, 35, whatever it is. Construction zones, be aware of those too. Speed limit changes. You need to be at that speed limit when you go by that sign. If not, if there's an officer there, chance he may pull you over if you're going 7, 8 over, and they're going to stop you. May not give you a ticket, but they'll give you an inspection and they'll write violations on it. So anyway, just something to remember, but great numbers. Kudos to all of our drivers out there.
Can I add something to that, Dave?
Go for it.
When Dave was talking about the changing speed limits there, that got me thinking just for a second about being distracted in the cab. And, for our folks that have been around a while, I always, when you exit off 44 at Big Cabin and you're heading down 69 towards Dallas, I swear the speed limits change every 2 miles on that road. And you got to stay focused, because you don't know, as Dave said, you're coming into the town. Did that drop to 45? Is it 35? What's the speed limit here? And that's a big reason to be focused out there, to not be distracted. Distracted driving causes problems. It causes accidents, not just for trucks, for cars. And I believe cars are far worse than big trucks. But I just want everyone to remember, driving as a professional, that's your responsibility out there. That's what we're doing. And we need to be focused. We can't be distracted in that cab. And the speed limit changes is a good example of that. And also scales. Was that scale open? Maybe I was doing something else, reaching for something to drink or something. So stay focused out there. I guarantee you it will make you safer.
All right. So let's look at some more safety information. A week ago today, we're out there on the training pad setting up for our truck driving championship. We've got some winners from that truck driving championship. So last Friday, we had our prime TDC. We needed to get together and have a team put together for our state championship in June. Our winners from last week, Steve, number one, I need to bring this up. 46 drivers that signed up for last week. So that's a great number for having kind of a spur of the moment, standalone competition. 38 drivers competed last week. I'll start with number 3. Our number 3 driver finished third, Lionel Mincy. Lionel is a B2 driver. He was the last one to compete out there last Friday night. He shows up and he knocks it out of the ballpark, does a great job. So he finished third in the competition. Our second place driver, Bill Stanford. Bill's been to state many times before. Also been to nationals once as well and competed at the nationals representing Prime. And our first place was Buddy Gray. Buddy's been a competitor here for many years as well. So let's give a big round of applause for those 3 drivers. They did awesome. So like I mentioned, we'll be having a team come, team get together and to go to state and compete at the state truck driving championships. That is June 3rd and 4th in Branson, Missouri at the Hilton Convention Center. It'll be inside truck driving course, so it'll be a fun event. Finally, we get back to some normalcy, because the last time we competed as a state was 2019. So
been a long time.
Been 3 years. Yeah, get rid of this COVID. Let's get rolling in the right direction. So we are heading in that direction. So let's meet our truck driving championship team. Obviously, Buddy Gray's on there, Bill Stanford. Lionel will not be able to be on there because you got to be employed for a year before at a current carrier. or a Missouri carrier, I should say. So Lionel won't be on our team, but he's got a bright future ahead, no doubt, if he can be a B2 and finish third in our, so great job to him. Scott Fisher, Scott's on our team. Scott's a flatbed operator, operates our flatbed division. He's only competed twice in these truck driving championships. And the last time he did, 2019, he went to nationals and finished in the top 5. So he did awesome. Yeah. So glad to have Scott back on there. Dwayne Grimm, another 4-time state winner here for us. No slouch in the TDC. Julie Barnett's back. She won a 3rd place trophy in 2019. So great to have her. Now we got Don Cook sitting over here, Mr. Cookie Monster. Don made it as well. So great to have him. Don's competed at state a number of times. You've got a 2nd and a 3rd place. We're looking for you to get a number 1, man. We need to go to Indianapolis here. So yeah, this is it. So no pressure, Donnie. You know what I mean? It's yeah, exactly. So also we got Mr. Ben Walker. Where you at, Ben? There you are. Ben made it on the team as well. So great guy. So he'll be coming back. He's competed at state numerous times as well. So great to have you, Ben. So let's look at some of our rookies we've got coming. We got Sean Dawes. Sean runs in our reefer division. This will be his first time competing. Now, when we say rookie, we don't mean he's a brand new driver. First time competing at state. That's what a rookie driver is. So he can win a Rookie of the Year award, which we've been very successful at that. Justin Humanson, flatbed operator. Justin will be going for us. He'll be a rookie as well. Travis Burkett, another reefer driver. He'll be a rookie. Joseph Wells, a rookie driver too. And Jason Worth, another rookie. So, yeah. Is that you, Jason? All right. Yeah, there he is. He's cheering for. That's great. Great to see you, man. So rounding out our team, we got Roy Romo. Roy's been at state. He's went to nationals too as well. So great to have him back. Ron Hoover, experienced hand too as well. So Ron's been around for many years. Michael Tatum in the tank division. Michael will be coming back to us. He's competed. And so that's our 15 drivers, Steve. And heck, we're going to have a heck of a team. Got some new blood and got some old too. So
I think you got a good team this year, Dave.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
You know, and I will tell you, Dave puts a heck of an effort into this every year. You know, he was out on that pad all day Friday, getting it set up. He chaperones, if that's the right word, our team down at the state, and then he takes the winners to nationals. So we're very fortunate. I appreciate you doing that, Dave.
Well, no problem.
Our drivers.
I got to give kudos last Friday to George Niehaus, works over in orientation over in the plaza. George was out there helping. He really developed the course. I let George develop it, and then we had a special guest come in, Remy Braun. Remy drives for D&D Sexton, doesn't even drive her, but he's been a friend of ours and does a great job. He competes at state. His company does not have state truck driving, or does not have a truck driving championship. So he messaged me, said, hey, do you mind if I come over and help you set up the course? So he helped George and us and got it all knocked out. It was a great time. And not only that, having a driver go through it all. We thought it was going to be a little bit easier, the course, but I think Remy made it a little bit harder. So next, we got another one coming up in Labor Day weekend, another truck driving championship. So if you missed this one, you want to get involved, mark it Labor Day, that Friday night. We'll be back at it. And then Saturday will be our picnic. So that'll be fun
to it.
Get back to that. No doubt about it. It's been too long since we've been away from our picnic. So,
we missed a lot of events during COVID, and, we keep saying COVID. We want to hope that it's in the rear view mirror. I've been flying the last couple of weeks. It's nice to be out there without a mask. It almost feels back to being human out there. And, but continue to take care of yourself. We do have the vaccine available. We have the booster available downstairs at Trinity Healthcare. If that's the route you want to take, it's not required. It never has been required, but just, we probably picked up a few good habits, maybe being a little bit more cautious of our hands near our face during COVID, but we're back. I think trucking is back. We never really left, but we're going to be back to having fun with the events Dave mentioned. So it's good to start feeling normal again. When you're out there on the road, you've got a big support team back here at Prime. Every one of us, our job is to make sure you're successful. Probably the number one person is your fleet manager, your business partner that you're going to be joined at the hip out there. If you're successful, your fleet manager is successful. But you've also got a team with you that is going to help you in different areas. You've got your payroll advisor. Everyone likes payroll because they get you paid. They make sure you get paid right. You've got your road assist advisor. You got to like them because they're keeping your truck running. If there's a breakdown, they're getting it fixed for you very valuable. And you've also got one more advisor, but they've got a little tougher job, your log advisor. And, logs are a challenge. The rules are constantly changing. There's a lot of misinformation out there, but we're very fortunate. We've got a really good log department here. Susan's the manager. Okay. Susan's the log department manager, but we did bring over one of the log advisors today. Brennan, you're coming up, right? So we've got Brennan, and my advice to you is don't fight logs. These ladies, and they're all ladies down there, they know what they're doing. They know what the rules are. They're probably not perfect, but you do a good job down there. And, listen, ask questions, but at the end of the day, when they tell you, you probably can't do that, or that's a violation, they're telling you the truth. They want you to succeed as much as everyone else in the company does. We asked Brennan to come over today to talk about probably some of the more common violations and maybe what we have going on with classes. So go ahead, Brennan. Good to have you here.
Thank you. All right. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
So I do have a few things to cover with you. The first is that your log advisor cannot edit drive status. And this has been the case for the last couple of years as a result of the ELD mandate. Now, as a result of this, you need to be very careful when you put your truck in the shop. Anytime you put your truck in the shop, you've got to make sure to be proactive and log out before you hand over the keys. That way, it eliminates the possibility of a mechanic taking your truck on a test drive and interrupting a potential break. Now, the next thing we need to cover is log certification. Now, it is an FMCSA requirement that you are certifying on a daily basis. I would recommend that you do so at the tail end of your shift. Take a couple of minutes to verify everything's correct and agree to those logs. Now, it is something very simple, quick, and easy to do, but we are seeing several tickets coming in every single week for drivers failing to certify. In fact, according to the FMCSA website, the violation for failing to certify daily is the third most documented driver violation regarding HOS for prime drivers. So that is astounding. Now, the next thing we need to cover is the heavy hitter, which is personal conveyance. Now, personal conveyance does continue to be an industry-wide issue in terms of misuse. And unfortunately, Prime is not an exception. There is a lot of misuse going on within the company. So I do have a few statistics I want to read off from the Commercial Vehicle Safety Alliance. The first is that in 2021, false records of duty status violations represented the third most documented driver violation, as compared to it being the sixth most frequent violation in 2019. Now, that is the industry-wide statistic. According to the FMCSA website, the false record of duty status violation is the #1 most documented driver violation regarding hours of service for prime drivers. All right. Now I'm going to follow that up with the next statistic, which is as of January 28th. So this year, the very first month, there were already 3,041 violations cited under the false record of duty status regulation, indicating the misuse of PC. Of those violations, a whopping 61% resulted in the driver being placed out of service. That is huge. So it's really important that you're managing your logs effectively and that you're being as honest as possible when it comes to your personal conveyance use. Keep in mind, personal conveyance is only meant for small, strictly personal uses within the vicinity. It's not meant for anything work-related or long distance. If you're going to fuel, get a washout, go to the shop, head to your customers, return to your customers, or advance the load, among other things, you have to log that movement on the driveline. Now, per the CVSA, PC misuse has resulted in many safety-conscious motor carriers prohibiting their drivers from using PC to prevent violations based on their drivers' misinterpretation. Now, here at Prime, you're very lucky because we do allow you to utilize personal conveyance as a privilege. However, if you abuse that privilege, you will lose personal conveyance status on the Qualcomm unit. Now, our CSA score for hours of service is astronomically high. And the reason for this is we have an excess of failed DOT inspections related to logs. So as a result, you can expect to go through several hours of service related inspections moving forward. Now, While it is negative to be targeted by DOT, I would encourage you to look at this from a more positive standpoint. As Steve mentioned, you have a log support team here to assist. We are 24/7, so whether it's days, nights, weekdays, weekends, or holidays, there is somebody here to help you. So feel free to call in, send a message if you have a question or concern. We also have hours of service classes every single day, Monday through Friday at 1330 Central. Those are based, of course, here in Springfield in the multipurpose room of the new plaza right behind driver lineup. We also simulcast to both Salt Lake City and Pittston. So no matter which terminal you're at, you have access to attending this class. And we welcome any and all drivers with any level of experience to attend. Do I have any questions?
Oh, we got one right back here, Brennan. That's good information. Appreciate that.
Thanks.
Let's say we drive over our hours and do it legally. What is the DOT doing to us for not falsifying our logs?
All right. So gaining an hours of service violation, whether it's 1 second, 10 minutes, or hours, is never a good thing. In fact, DOT can cite you for any violation you incur. However, you made the point doing it legally. It is never actually going to be legal to run over your time. So I would encourage you trip plan. But that said, you cannot control everything. So if it happens, it's always lesser an offense to just continue on drive. Whenever you are safely stopped, add a notation to your log to explain what happened, what delayed you, and what resulted in the hours of service violation. Officers can always take this into account. Of course, it's going to be up to their determination whether they issue a ticket. However, on the other hand, we do have several drivers who misuse personal conveyance to dodge their hours of service violation. If you were to do this and an officer caught it, they could write you up for the misuse. You have a false record of duty status. They can write you up for the violation that would have been incurred had you made the movement on drive. And they can also place you out of service if taking away that PC results in a false break. So they can get you threefold if you misuse PC, whereas if you just violate and you add a note, that violation is the only thing they can cite you for.
And to be perfectly clear, Brennan's very diplomatic. It is wrong to move to PC when you're about to run out of hours. I understand, well, I'm out of hours, I got to do something. Well, what you do is exactly as Brennan said, continue on, put an annotation on there. Chances are you're going to be okay. You won't be okay if you move over to that PC. That's not an appropriate use of PC that I ran out of hours.
And Steve, I think one thing to bring up too, and Brennan, they could also cite you for it. You can get a fine, a citation. So remember, that's kind of fourfold, not threefold. So you can get a ticket for it as well. So, and we've had Captain Kelly here many times, and I know it's one thing they do not like, enforcement, is the PC, because there's no guidance. It's really up to the officer's discretion. And, they want to give every break they can to the driver. But like Brennan says, if you're using it and you're under a load and you're going PC because you're trying to make it to the 90, that's not a valid reason at all. And that's going to get you in trouble.
And just a quick point on that, that safety meeting with Captain Kelly was excellent. He offered up a lot of really good information. And we actually have a QR link that we include in our comprehensive log class, in which you can search that link and you can watch the 10 to 15 minute segment in which he discusses personal conveyance.
Go ahead, Chad.
I was just going to add a comment under that. If you do use PC and get to an accident, I don't know if you want to touch on that can of worms briefly or not.
We never want to be involved in an accident, period, but we really, really never want to be involved in an accident when our logs are not accurate at the time. It presents a lot of challenges for us. It's always better to log it as you do it. I think we got time for one more question before we're going to switch speakers. Great. Go ahead.
So approximately how many hours, how many out of service incidents have we had, and how many hours have that accumulated to? So out of service, when they actually get put out of service, and then how many hours does that equate to?
So if a driver's placed out of service, it's typically for 10 hours or so, which could definitely impact your on-time delivery and potentially your paycheck down the road. Additionally, if you're placed out of service, that is a huge hit on your CSA score. which impacts both you and Prime. Now, in terms of how many out of services we've seen as a company, I'm not 100% sure, and how much the total hours lost would be, I'm not sure. But the number is, of course, high when it comes to personal conveyance on the log. DOT officers are definitely targeting us based on personal conveyance. So please try to keep those logs as legal as possible. And if you have questions, feel free to touch base. Let us know.
Let me just add one final thing to something Brennan said that kind of keyed me in. She said, kind of roadside inspectors are kind of targeting personal conveyance. I believe that to absolutely be true. CVSA has been pushing for time limits or distant limits, which we don't have, to really clarify what is permitted with personal conveyance. So I think the inspectors are really trying to point out that there is some confusion out there and we may need some limits. So that's a great point, Brennan. I'm going to wrap it up with Brennan, but she'll stay around here if you have questions after the meeting. We also have Donna over here from the log department, so don't hesitate to come up and see these folks if you have some questions that you were embarrassed to ask in front of everyone else. Thanks, Brennan.
Thanks.
Good job, Brennan. I love those boots, man. You're sporting some fancy boots this morning. That looks good. Yeah, so our next speaker we got coming up, Justin Kaufman. Justin oversees our road assist department. We'll get him up here. He's back in the cheap seats this morning, back there with some of the vendors, I think. So good to have you, Justin. Morning.
Morning, Dave. I had a few things that I wanted to talk about today, and we were going to get a PowerPoint log. But coming up May 17th is an international road check, and so it's just really important. I believe whenever you're doing your pre-trip and in-route and post-trip inspections, that we're looking through everything, making sure that we're checking tires, making sure that, we're looking for any missing or broken components, because, that'll be a key time whenever they are, really inspecting your truck to a super, large level. But, as far as what the DOT requires for tire tread depths, May 17th through May 19th is what we're showing right here. And you can go ahead and move to the next slide. But as far as what the DOT requires for tread depths, it's 4/32 of tread in every major tread groove of a steer tire and 2/32 of tread in every major tread groove of a steer or drive tire. And so what classifies a major tread groove is if there's a wear bar, and we can go on to the next slide. If there's a wear bar in the center of that tread groove. And so we got a bunch of tread depth gauges I actually gave to one of our reps up there, Andy Bell. And, if you don't have a tread depth gauge, they'll pass one out to you. You can get one after the meeting, but it's really good. It's a handy tool to have just to make sure that you're measuring your tires, making sure that they're good. Once again, 4/32 in every major tread groove of a steer tire and 2/32 in every major tread groove of a drive and trailer tire. So, if you notice that your tires are starting to run lower on tread, plan a trip through a terminal. There's no better place to get your tires changed out than, right here in Springfield or Salt Lake City or Pittston. And we can take care of that. If you have something on a tire that you question, feel free to use the Prime app to send a photo in. We'll take a look at it, see whether it's legal or not. On the next photo, how I talk about the major tread grooves and the wear bar, we've got a kind of a half moon circle on the steer tire where the decoupling groove is. And that decoupling groove on the edge of the steer tire doesn't count as a major tread groove. So I just thought that I would bring that up because a lot of times if you land at a truck stop, you're getting an annual inspection done, something has happened, they'll try to sell you as that being a major tread groove. Oh, you got 0/32, and they'll even write, we see the photos all the time in road assist, they'll write 0/32, and we're like, wait a second. That's not a major tread groove. You got to look at the major tread groove, which is the next groove over. It's got a wear bar in it. And, in many cases, the tires really do have 4/32 on it. Obviously, it's a completely different situation if there's steel or cords showing. We had one of those this week where there were cords and steel showing on a steer tire. So, just important. I wanted to touch on that, as we go into international road check. And on the next photo, it's also just important that we're looking at, for any oil leaks and anything that, whenever you get up in the morning and you're doing your pre-trip inspection, any oil leaking on the ground. This is an axle flange gasket leaking. And on my next photo, I've got a photo of a wheel seal leaking. And so, this is obviously something that you'd want to stop. Send photos into Road Assist. We love photos. So send photos into Road Assist. We'll get an action plan to get that fixed and get that taken care of. So obviously you want to make sure that your brake shoes are at the proper, proper thickness, 1/4 inch thickness or more. So you want to make sure that those are good. And let me see on the next photo. I guess that's it. So I wanted to start off with that. And then I was going to introduce our on-site reps. So as many of you know, we've got a number of on-site reps. They're here most Fridays as well. But we're going to start off. Ben, are you back there? And why don't all the on-site reps, Jeff Wara, Van, Chad, Philip, Andy, why don't you come on up here if you wouldn't mind real quick. But, these folks kind of sit around Prime and they're here, working with fleet managers and with advisors and, working to get your issues and problems taken care of. And I'm going to let Van start off just by sharing, what he does on a day-to-day basis, on a weekly basis, whenever he goes through and he's working with operators on repeat issues and parts issues. So go ahead, Van.
Yeah, good morning. So I am your on-site Peterbilt rep. We stay down at leasing. We're here every day. The way Justin says, well, a day in the life of your reps, and we're probably all about the same. The way this works for us is obviously you're going on the road. The trucking gods give you a check engine light at the worst time possible because it will never be convenient. You get a hold of Road Assist, you run through what's going on, they pull up codes. Usually they get in contact with us. It's like, how bad is this? Is this a now deal, a tomorrow deal, next week deal? We make decisions from that. A lot of times we make decisions based on where you are in the country and what shops you're around. We are very choosy about our shops when we can be, obviously some better than others. From that point, you arrive at the dealership, you give them your information, your keys, your start code, and then they start working on your truck. For us reps, we are usually involved at that point. We've talked to the shop, we've kind of given a rundown of what we know about the truck. Here's what we see wrong with it. Here's what we predict that you're going to need for parts. Do you have these parts? If you don't have these parts, can we order these parts? And then the world we live in right now, we all know supply chain issues are a major issue. Parts are a major issue. We spend most of our time chasing parts. We have a team. I guess it's probably the point of this is that you guys are out in those trucks by yourselves. You really aren't. There's an entire team of people in the background. We're kind of like ducks. That old saying about a duck on top of the water, nothing's moving, it's all smooth, but below the water, the feet are going like crazy. That's the way it is here. Once you hit that shop office or shop dealership, between the Road Assist and your reps, and then I've got teams of people in the parts world for PACCAR. I have all sorts of engineers that I call when I've got problems I can't fix, especially repeat issues. We all hate repeat issues. We kind of dog on them and start, escalating to getting better engineers involved, better technicians involved, that kind of stuff. From our perspective, it's a lot going on. I understand from you guys, y'all will be there and you won't see all this movement with Justin's people who are, obviously in constant contact with us. We're in constant contact with the shop, the OEM, the parts people. We bug people, we yell at people, we, pressure people just to get stuff going for all of you guys, because we understand that once you stop moving, so does your paycheck. And that doesn't get lost on us. Some of us drove. I never drove over the road. I drove construction flatbed, but I understand, and I understand the pain that it causes y'all to be sitting. So we do everything on our end and involve anybody we can involve to make sure that it all gets through the shop as quickly as possible. It's not perfect, but we try.
You guys do an incredible job. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it. Chad, real quickly, tell the group a little bit about what you do on a day-to-day basis.
Van summed it up pretty good there. You guys don't see us running like crazy in the background to twist arms of these shops and get parts found, whether we're pulling stuff from the factory, where we're pulling stuff off of a new truck sitting somewhere. We go to work, we find what's needed, we do our best to ship it out. My friends at International have approved me to just spend obscene amounts of money shipping parts all over the country if need be. He doesn't care. He just says, do it. Don't care if it's a $20 part and it's $500 shipping. We're going to do it. So that's what we do, guys. We chase stuff around so you don't have to. You know, we try to make your visits to the dealerships as quick and painless as possible. And like Van said, I get it. My dad's been driving for 45 years. And so I've lived it. I know the firsthand struggle and sacrifice you all make. And so, yeah, that's what we do. We work behind the scenes and try to just make you guys as profitable and successful as possible.
How long have you been over to Summit? As a technician, how long were you there?
I was a factory trained certified technician for 20 years at Summit. So at the International dealership here in town. So I've got an idea of how to keep the truck on the road.
He knows what he's doing. So we get him on the phone with the shops and he can tell the technician exactly what to do. Thank you very much, Chad. So, all right, Jeff.
All right, so basically the same thing, you know, trying to get trucks in, get them to work on, getting parts. One thing I can tell you with Daimler is I've got certain connections for parts that nobody else has. And so we're doing everything we can to get you parts. Shops may tell those shops they don't have the parts, but when I get a hold of them, they know me. When I say it's for a prime, I can normally get the part. Okay, we can't always, but we can normally get the parts. So we are doing everything we can possible. If we have to take a part off a used truck, we're doing that. If we have to take it off a new truck, we're doing that. And we're getting the parts sent out to get the trucks going as quick as possible. For myself, I've been in this industry for 30 years. 30 years ago, I started right here at Prime, actually in the shop, working on reefers and trailers, and then come back around, and I've been in this position for 10 years. So I have a lot of knowledge. I have a lot of connections, and I still know a lot of people here from Prime from when I worked before. So we're here. Let us know. We'll do whatever we can for you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff, could you just expound real quick? Because I think a lot of new people are here, and as well, a lot of experienced hands. You know, Don, we're not just talking about you because you're old. We're talking about other people with more, just, you know, lots of experience too. Not picking on you, Don. Anyway, Jeff, can you kind of talk about, you know, how many trucks we have on the Freightliner side and how you use, you know, our volume as a big club to get parts when other people can't get parts? Because that's been one of the big hot topics about who can get them.
Oh, yeah, because one thing I do is when I'm not getting some cooperation, I remind the shops and everybody how many Freightliners Prime has. Over 6,000 Freightliners, and I'm saying they are a major player, and we need to take care of them. So that is a big deal, and that does help with leverage for sure. And especially since they know Prime and they know Prime's running, that helps out all the time. I mean, I'll have shops saying, we've tried to get this part, and I've had a truck sitting here since October, like for a one box, for example. And I'll call them a couple days later and I'll say, okay, one box will be there in 3 or 4 days. Well, can you help me get it for this one? No, I can't. I'm here to do it for Prime. So that makes a big difference. So do not hesitate to get a hold of your Rotuses, get hold of me. Even if they're saying it's going to be a year for a part, no, we'll get the part. Somewhere, somehow we will find it.
Thank you, Jeff. We'll move on to our trailer and APU reps. This is Andy Bell. Andy, how long have you been rep for Prime?
Hey guys, my name is Andy Bell. I'm actually on-site carrier rep, sort of on-site, not on-site as much as what I used to be anymore, but I have actually been a carrier rep at Prime for 15 years now, right at going on 15 years. So I've been around for a long time. And basically I handle everything that has to do with the reefer units, including sales now. My boss retired a couple of years ago and I'm taking over some of the new unit sales as well. So not, you know, pretty much just everything from the new trailers all the way through to the time where we end up getting rid of them, selling them off. So from start to finish. So if you guys ever have any questions with reefer unit, feel free to holler at me. I actually have another guy that works with me as well, Dean McCarville, who is a master technician for Carrier. He's the one who usually goes out and talks to the shops and deals with everything on the day-to-day basis stuff. So, but by all means, you know, if you ever have any questions on anything, do not hesitate to holler at me and I'll help you with anything reefer unit. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Andy. Next up is Philip. I think Philip is our newest on-site rep.
Yeah, I'm the newest one in a couple of years with being an on-site rep with Prime. I am your in-house Thermal King rep. So we do have reefer units down. Of course, everybody's pretty familiar with the tri-packs. So I am your rep for that as well. I echo these guys with the truck guys. We're in the parts issues as well. So work with me, work with your road assist advisor. We'll do what we can to get you in the shop and get you taken care of. With the AC system or AC time coming, we're getting in the warmer weather. Just be sure and check that evaporator. Your filter, the big blue one, is usually under the bunk on a Freightliner. Want to make sure that you keep that clean, keep that obstruction from in front of that evap when you're running your air conditioner. Will optimize it. So,
all right.
Again, and then just a little tip for pro maintenance class. If you guys want to learn how to check tires or change wiper blades or whatever, it's a great class on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
That is a great point, Philip. So all of these folks are actively involved with our Springfield Pro Maintenance classes, as he alluded. And, you know, in the up and coming months, we're going to offer this class in Pittston, Pennsylvania. So we're working on getting that fired up as well. But, you know, it's similar to what Jeff was saying earlier. I mean, these guys have contacts, cell numbers to service managers and can reach them oftentimes after hours, you know, on the weekends, at nights, you know, so they are connected. And we've kind of learned through these parts and labor shortages, just how valuable, you know, our relationships are with people and with vendors, you know, and everybody out there.
So they've told you Prime is a good company to work for. I want you to take a look, because there's 5 of us up here. There's not another fleet you could have chosen to go to work for that their reps live on site here daily. This is the only one that does this. They invite us in. They want us here. They need us here to help you guys, right, to make it better. There isn't anybody else you can work for that does this. So you did land in the right place.
That's well said, Van. And, you know, we appreciate each and every one of you. I deal with you all the time. Thanks, guys. Sam, you ready? You know, fuel is so, in my opinion, complicated. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes with fuel contracts and who we recommend or routing. And we're real lucky to have Sam Messick from our accounting department here. That's like a fuel rain man of some kind. So go ahead, Sam.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Just wanted to give you a quick update on something that happened this last week. Most of you probably got a message about it. But, we've really been pushing Pilot Flying J to continue to get better, right? They're our primary fuel vendor. One of the things that we've heard a lot of feedback from folks on is the quality of their locations, which they are working very hard on. I can tell you that. They're spending a ton of money trying to get these locations up to par. But then the second thing is their points programs, and that's really the only thing that I wanted to mention to you this morning. So for the months of May and June, so starting, I guess it would be tomorrow, is May 1st, I believe, they're going to Sunday. They're going to add an extra point per gallon to the Push for Points program. So you'll max out at 5 points per gallon instead of the 4 that you're at today. As I will try to, I guess, convey their feelings in that they really are doing everything they possibly can to try to earn your business. They're even trying to think of some more creative ways to add value to what you all are doing as operators as part of your fueling transactions and things. So look for that May and June. If it goes well, if they get the gallons and stuff that they should get based off of the pricing and the points programs that they're offering us, they'll continue that, maybe even expand it some more, make it a little bit more lucrative. But for now, it's up to 5 points instead of the 4 in the months of May and June. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. Just a reminder to use that Push for Points program at the beginning of every month before you fuel for the first time. Go into the PFJ mobile app and hit opt-in or activate on the Push for Points program. And every time you fuel, every time you get over 50 gallons at a pilot location, you'll bump up an additional ½ point per gallon multiplier on their points program, right? So it's a very valuable program, very lucrative. A lot of folks find a ton of value in these points. They use them for meals, for showers, for all kinds of stuff in the store. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. But otherwise, that's all that I had this morning, unless there's some questions.
Yeah, one question.
Yeah, that's just for Prime. Yeah.
I've noticed on our Prime drivers, past, present, and future pages, drivers are taking pictures of the pump price and putting it on the thing. That is not what we pay, guys. drivers, we pay a different price. So taking pictures of fuel prices at $60 a gallon and a pilot flying J loves doesn't do us any good because we don't pay it. I don't know why we even posted on the page, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, definitely there's a discount at play, right? And then also the fuel surcharge is at play too, right? Which should be protecting you from those high fuel prices for sure. Anybody, and I don't know
Here we
if
go,
everybody heard, we had a question up here about, is that 5 times the points multiplier only for Prime? Yes, it's only for Prime, the specific promotion.
Question.
All right, one more question here.
In line with what you just said,
Yeah.
don't we pay that pump price and then at the end of the month we get our discount?
No, your discount comes out same week on that transaction.
Okay, because that's what I was told in payroll, and
No,
so I was able-
the fuel taxes is a different story. That's reconciled at the end of the month.
Yeah.
But your fuel discount for DEF and diesel, so both tractor and reefer, comes out that week. It's down at the bottom of
Yeah.
your deduction section.
Yeah, that's what I had thought, and I
Yep.
asked my rep about that, and she was like, "Well, it comes out at the end of."
Yeah, no, it's on a transaction by transaction weekly basis. Anything else?
Anything else for Sam? I can tell you he's a vicious negotiator. He is out there getting the best deals possible for you guys.
Thank you all very
Okay,
much.
thanks, Sam. Appreciate you coming up. You know, a couple of things before we move to our last two speakers. Andy Bell, who was up here, told me he ran out of tire gauges. So if you see the shop, if you see the guys out in the bays, they can get you a tire gauge. It's important that you have that. We should not be getting written up for tires, not having the proper tread depth. We've got Richard right over here. If you're struggling with your app or you're having trouble getting it downloaded, if you see Richard after the meeting, he can help you get you hooked up on that. Finally, two last things for me. Number one is, if you served in the armed forces, if you've helped defend our country, would you stand this morning so we can recognize you for your service, please? Thank you all very much. And before I pass the mic, I just do want to get in one more plug. Sometimes on the weekends, we lose a little focus. Let's stay focused out there this weekend. Last weekend, we saw some high winds, particularly in the Wyoming, North Dakota areas. If you feel that trailer, particularly if you're empty, if it's really starting to wiggle out there, find a safe place to park it until those winds pass. I appreciate everything that you do for safety out there. We're a family. Let's take care of each other and be as safe as we can. I'd like to introduce Steve Wutke, our Vice President of Sales and Marketing.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it very much. I'd like to thank the vendors that are here too. Thank you for what you do. We really appreciate you. Yeah, I'm in sales. We had a big event this week. I'd like to have a couple people come up here and join me real quick for just a minute. Chad and Tony and Linda, would you guys hustle up here real quick? Because we got a couple other things we want to talk about. We work hard at building relationships with our customers. And we have driver board as well to help us get better. So we created this customer advisory boards many years ago, bring in maybe our 20 of our top 30 customers and talk about issues, where we are, what we could do better, what we see coming, what they see coming. We have them present as well. And then we have our drivers supporting us as well. So Chad, real quickly, could you just recap just shortly what you saw and what you felt?
It's gonna be hard to recap everything, but in a nutshell, our customers love us. The service that we provide is unparalleled to anyone else. And even though I'm a door swinger, nothing against flatbed or tanker, but I got to visit with some of your customers. They love you guys, so definitely want to keep doing that. And the big thing I stress is that we're a family. We own those loads. When we pick those up, it's not customer A or customer B. That's my load. I'm taking it to deliver to where they need it to go to. And I said that they should consider us an extension of their family because we're a family here at Prime.
Thank you very much, Chad. You did a great job. Linda, how about you?
Yeah, it was great being down there, and they were the theme was creating capacity in the industry, and that is exactly what they were asking for. They were just wanting more trucks and more Prime drivers at their location. So anytime you find someone that you feel like you're not appreciated, you're definitely appreciated here at Prime and at our customers.
Anthony?
Yes, I got to watch firsthand. These guys are really fighting for the best race for Prime and the Prime drivers to maximize profit. And I just sat back and just watched them fighting with them tooth and nail. And these guys really want our loads, and I think they're gonna pull it off for us.
Yeah, I will tell you, you'd be proud of the representation that you had down there with our driver base and flatbed and tanker as well. Did a terrific job. We were proud of you. You interacted with our customers in a great way. So thanks for everything. Thank you.
Thank you.
And, while I got the microphone, can I get James Rose? James, could you come up for a minute, please? James, one of our operators, served in the armed forces, has a great story. And James, I want you just for a minute, if you would, share just a little bit about the wall that heals. Would you do that?
Hey, good morning, everybody. How y'all doing today? We don't sound absolutely motivated. I don't know about y'all, but I'm always motivated. So, sir, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to come up here. I just had the pleasure and honor of pulling the wall that heals, and that's the replica of the Vietnam Wall that's up in Washington, D.C. A lot of Vietnam vets, they served, and whenever they came home, they didn't get those the big fanfare parades and all that kind of stuff. So what they do now is, they take that wall around throughout the United States. So those folks that can't make it up there to DC get the opportunity to go out there and visit and see the names on the wall. Also, a lot of folks, believe it or not, they didn't even know their family members' names were on those walls. So if you have some folks that are out there that served in the Vietnam War, in the Vietnam War, if they can't get up to DC, please encourage them to go onto the website so they can find out where the location is so that they can go out there and visit that. And believe it or not, there's a lot of healing that happens whenever they go out there and visit that wall.
So James, you felt like it's quite an experience. I know that, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was excited whenever I was told that I was going out there to pull that wall. I went up to Warrenton, Missouri, and we took it down to Bay St. Louis. The support that we received out there in Mississippi, out there, that the escort, it was absolutely wonderful.
James, I'm proud of you. Thanks for your service and thanks for doing that. Thank you. Okay, so, we got a lot of things going on. Business is still really good. It's a great time to be in trucking. These are safety meetings. Safety is our highest calling. You see, we touch a lot of things because we care about your profitability. And these meetings, we get questions, we get to discuss different issues. It makes us better. While we think we're fairly good in a relative sense to the competition, we also are smart enough to know we can get a lot better. So we thank you very much for all you do. Before I bring Robert up, he's on the injured reserve, but you come on up here if you would. You new folks are entering a very dangerous profession. I hope you recognize that. When you get ready to get behind that wheel, you got to be ready to go. You got to be focused, 100% focused, not distracted. We need to protect you. We need to protect the motoring public. So please remember that. Safety is our highest calling. Appreciate all you do. Robert?
Hey, thanks, Steve. I might be on the IR, but I'm still in the game. I might be a little bit of a cheerleader right now, but I'm still in the game, if you know what I'm saying. We just have some great people, don't we? I mean, do we have some great people? Yeah. Give it up for them. These vendor reps, I am so impressed with those guys, what they do for us on a daily basis to keep us running when other folks are out there, parked, waiting on parts, whatever. And that's so important, so critical to, your incomes. And we appreciate you guys. So thanks again. The drivers that joined us for customer advisor, it's a big deal. And the customers really enjoy visiting with the people. They glad hand me and Steve, but they appreciate the drivers. They know the ones that really are making the sacrifices, delivering the loads, doing all the things, and doing it safely at a very high order. So, you all would have been proud with these representatives and the job they do. They served you very, very well. You know, business is good. Business is rocking out there.
It is.
You know, the economy naturally cycles, folks. I mean, it's going to cycle. But I tell you what, this isn't our first rodeo. You know, we've been down this road before. We know how to manage through, you know, differences in the economy and changes and the ebb and flow of traffic. So be confident and rest assured that we'll deal with whatever comes, whether it's wars or pandemics or whatever it is. You know, we'll manage our way through these things, and
Robert, one
we'll
thing I'd
end
like
up
to
on
add
top.
before you close up, and that is the last thing y'all need to worry about is the price of fuel. You're insulated to the price of fuel. If you'll do your job, getting a really good miles per gallon average, you will be just fine. So don't worry about driving along and seeing $5.50 a gallon or whatever. Okay, that's a very good question that young lady asked. But I'm telling you, we negotiate hard on our fuel buying, and you have a great fuel surcharge program. Okay, I just want to get that in there, Rob. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, in fact, you know, it sounds, well, however it sounds, I hope no shippers are listening, but every time it goes up, you know, if you're getting better than it's, we're at 7 miles a gallon index with our Q contracts, as they call them. You know, every time it goes up, if you're getting 7 or better, you actually gain a little bit on the fuel. You know, walk through the math. I mean, it turns into a profit center when it goes up. Am I lying? You know what I'm talking about. You know, talk to these successful operators, and they'll tell you how to actually, you know, make money on fuel if you're fuel efficient.
You don't really think that surgery is going to help your jump shot, do you? I mean, seriously.
Well, you know, it wasn't very good to begin with. I don't think you could, actually, I don't think you could hurt it, Steve. Probably not going to be any worse. But anyway, we appreciate what you do. God bless each of you, and please be safe out there.
Thank you.